Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Christy. This is my executive producer, Bailey. He has a smart mouth, so I make you no promises.
Okay.
Today we're switching things up a little bit, and we're going to be going through the case of 23-year-old Elijah McClain, who died back in 2019 while in the care of Aurora police officers and fire medics in Aurora, Colorado. This case recently came back up again across my news feed because the paramedics were charged and convicted of negligent homicide in this case. They have yet to be sentenced, but I myself was a paramedic for over a decade before I had a motorcycle accident in 2021 where I was internally decapitated. Now I make content here on YouTube, and although this is not my normal content, I do have experience in this and would like to point out some things and go through this together with you. Please feel free to leave your feedback below as you see fit, but I do need to give some disclaimers before we get into it. I am not a doctor. I am not a lawyer. I am a former paramedic or ditch doctor, whatever term you would like to use. I do not claim to know more than the doctors involved in this case, but I do have some opinions that may not necessarily go along with what they have said. The other disclaimer is that this video can be hard to watch. It could be triggering, so if you are sensitive to these types of things, then you should probably skip this video because it does depict the ultimate demise of Elijah McClain in the care of people that were supposed to be helping him. The third and last disclaimer is that I am mostly going to be giving commentary about the medical side of this as opposed to the law enforcement side, as that is not my background. Although I have worked closely with law enforcement for a long time, I don't specifically know what kind of training they have, what all, like, it's just not my expertise. So I will give opinions, but understand that those opinions are not backed by personal experience, but just more so my experience working closely with law enforcement over the years. Before we get into the body cam footage, first there is a video of Elijah at a gas station prior to this confrontation, and I think it gives some important context, so we're going to watch that video first.
It's August 24, 2019 in Aurora, Colorado. A security camera picks up 23-year-old Elijah McClain at this Shell gas station buying soft drinks and wearing a face mask. His family lawyer told NBC News he was in the habit of wearing this mask. After paying for his items, he turns around and bows to the man behind him in line. His family told NBC News this was his signature gratitude bow.
So in that video, we see Elijah making a purchase at a gas station prior to walking home for the evening. There's a few things about that I thought were pertinent. First of all, the patron in that store and the cashier both did not seem concerned. It makes me wonder if this was a normal occurrence for Elijah and they were just familiar with him. But I do have to admit, someone coming in there with a ski mask on, as someone who lives in Alabama, it's not a cold climate. I have never seen anybody wearing a ski mask, so I don't know if that was unusual for that area or if they were just familiar with Elijah. But the other thing to point out is the bow as he leaves. That immediately, the first time I saw that, reminded me of my youngest. My youngest is 17 and we believe is somewhere on the autism spectrum, even though he's never been officially diagnosed with autism. But some of the mannerisms of Elijah, like the bow, and also some of the things that he says later on, remind me so much of my 17-year-old. And he and I were talking about this recently. He did give me permission to share this, but one of the things that my youngest struggles with is body language. Sometimes what he says and what his body language is don't necessarily match up, and also sometimes he doesn't know how to interpret other people's body language, but he also does some funny little quirks, and the bow again just so much reminded me of my youngest, and it made me smile when I saw that. Elijah was a massage therapist by trade. He also played the violin, and there's been many reports all over the internet where he would go to the animal shelter and play the violin for the cats at the shelter. And if that's not the most endearing thing I've ever heard, I don't know what else is. But after Elijah leaves the gas station, a passerby sees him walking down the street and calls 911 to report a sketchy man wearing a ski mask and waving his arms. Again, I admit the ski mask to me would appear sketchy, so I don't fault them for that at all. But it was reported that Elijah was listening to music and he had the ski mask on because he has anemia, which is a blood disorder, and he was frequently cold, so he got in a habit of wearing the mask to keep him warm. And he was a musician, he was listening to music and walking home when he was then approached by a police officer responding to the 911 call about a sketchy person wearing a mask waving his arms. So this next section is the full footage from the body cam of the camera. Again, it can be hard to watch, especially knowing that this ultimately resulted in the death of this young man, so just keep that in mind, and here we go.
Do me a favor, stop right there. Hey, stop right there. Stop. 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 I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
Well, okay.
Turn around.
No,
Turn around.
actually, your hands are
Turn around.
Stop.
Stop tensing up, dude. Stop tensing up, bro. Stop tensing up.
Let go of me.
Stop tensing up.
Stop
tensing up.
No, let go of me.
Stop tensing up.
No, I am an introvert.
Stop
Please respect
tensing
the
up.
boundaries that I am speaking.
Stop tensing up.
Stop.
Relax.
Stop. I'm going home.
Relax, or I'm going to have.
I did just want to point out quickly that that phrase he just said, the way he said that, is one of the reasons that make me think he might be on the autism spectrum. But again, there are conflicting reports about that. Some reports said that he was. Some reports, like the BBC, quoted a family member saying that he was not. So I don't really know. But in either case, that was a little bit unusual in the way he said that, but not at all like confrontational. I didn't take it that way. I did just want to kind of point out that phrasing.
To change this situation. Stop.
Leave me alone.
Stop.
Can you please?
No,
we don't want to do
can
this,
you
all right?
leave me alone?
No, we're gonna.
First
we're gonna
off,
talk to
you guys started to arrest me, and I was stopping my music to listen.
Stopping his
Now let
music.
go of me.
Let's get over to grass.
Lay you down.
Elijah was walking home, listening to music, dancing a little bit. When the officers first approached him, he probably couldn't hear what they were saying. That's why he was reaching to turn off his music. In my opinion, the officers just immediately put hands on him, restraining him, which I, playing devil's advocate, understand. This person you don't know in a ski mask and having had someone call 911 about him, I get that side of it. But they also just went straight in and put hands on him before, saying, hey buddy, what's going on? Again, I don't know what their training is, so that's just an observation.
I intend to take my power back. If I intend to be a censored, I intend to be censored.
Just write your gun, dude.
Stop, dude.
Tensing up.
Of me.
Listen
No,
to me, bro.
let go of me.
This isn't gonna go well.
No, I am an introvert. Please respect
tensing
the
up.
boundaries
We're
that I am
trying to.
speaking.
Relax.
Stop.
Relax.
Stop. I'm going home.
Relax, or I'm going to have to
Leave me
change this
alone.
situation. Dude, hey, stop.
Leave me
Relax.
alone.
Sir, can you please?
No,
We don't wanna do
can
this,
you
all right?
leave me alone?
No, we're gonna.
First
we're gonna
off,
talk to
you guys started to arrest me, and I was stopping my music to listen. Now let go of me.
Get over the. Let's get over the grass. We're gonna lay you down. Okay. Come on.
Stop being arrest. I intend to take my power back.
Stop,
and I
dude.
intend to
We're
be
gonna go forward with him, okay?
censored. I intend to be censored.
Just write your gun, dude.
Stop, dude. Oh, okay.
Give us more. Give us some more units. We're fighting them.
Stop, dude. You got him? Stop, dude. All right, we got his arms. We got his arms.
Done?
Yep, we got his arms.
Yep.
No, not yet. Let go of your arms, dude. Let go of the choke. I got him. I got him. I got him. Arm hammer. Pull the arm out. Nice and slow. Slow it down. Slow it down. His arm. Wouldn't have fire start. Put your arm out, dude. Can't get it. I can't get it. Let go of your arm.
There we go.
People coming, but just start fire.
Okay, I've got his other arm.
Okay. The other arm. Tuck that on.
During this whole ordeal, Elijah was put into 2 different chokeholds.
Dude, just stop fighting.
Taser, taser, taser in a second.
You're gonna get tased in a second. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. You're gonna get tased. I got his arm.
They also claimed that he supposedly reached for one of the officer's guns, but we do not see that on body cam footage, so that cannot be proven.
Stop, dude.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is. It's just what is claimed.
Relax. Just relax. Relax. Relax.
He's saying he can't breathe.
I got her here. It's in a bar hammer.
Stop. Okay. I can't breathe. Please stop.
Okay. I'm gonna straddle him. Figure for his legs.
Recovery position. Recovery. I have his legs. I have no ID. Right here. I have no ID.
It's too late, too. We got him tased. Still fighting us in the ground.
My name is Elijah McClain.
Yeah,
That's all.
we gotta use karate.
That's what I was doing. I was just going home. Why? I made a trooper in my blueprint. I
I heard some snoring.
I just don't like
He
going
didn't lose
home.
consciousness.
I'm just different.
Tried
I'm
to
just
calm down.
different. That's all. That's all.
I'm just different. I'm just different. That is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Doing.
It was actually Rosenberg.
I'm so sorry.
You're gone, dude.
I have no gun. I don't do that stuff. I don't do any fighting.
Other units that are not here.
Why
You
were
can slow
you
it down a
touching
little
me?
bit.
I don't do guns. I don't even kill flies. I don't eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian. I don't judge people.
No, I mean, I
For
tried to
anything.
start walking away.
I try to live a secret
When we showed him up,
and all
when
life.
we showed up, he was wearing a ski
And I
mask.
respect all life.
He walked, so I mean, that,
Forgive me.
yeah.
All I was trying to do
I tried.
was become better.
We started it because he reached for
He was like,
Rose's
you're
gun,
gonna test us.
and we had him on the wall.
But I'll do it. I'll do it.
Alright, what are you gonna do?
Can you plug my camera?
My
It's right here in the garage.
Well,
So,
the RP called.
all
I
life,
saw him walking
I will
down.
do it.
Exactly where it was.
Anything about to sacrifice my identity. I'll do it. I'll do it. Sure. I guess
Look at this.
you all are phenomenal. You are beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
That's mine.
Your neutrality.
He was hitting
Hey,
us.
forgive me. I'm a nice son. In a mood. Gemini. Oh, so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, oh, that really hurt. Yeah, this is very strong. Teamwork
He went like this, dude.
makes the dream work. Oh, oh, that hurts.
Can you there's another body camera. It's probably split like this one. It's like right here.
Up here?
I lost a cuff too. Right here. A pair of glasses. That's it, I think. Alright.
I lost the cuffs somewhere.
Cuffs right here. So, there's glasses and a phone right over here.
One more body camera too somewhere.
Right here.
This isn't that little guy, is it?
I don't know. Stop.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I can't breathe correctly because
So during that confrontation, the officers were trying to restrain him. The body cam got knocked off. That's why we lost the video, but you could still hear the audio of Elijah saying he was sorry. He didn't mean anything. He's just different. I don't eat meat. I don't even kill flies. Now they found the body cam, and I'm not sure at what point the chokeholds were, but it is documented that there were 2 different times he was placed into a chokehold. You will also hear the officers say multiple times about superhuman strength and how strong he is, and they are convinced that there are drugs on board, making him superhuman strong. Also, let it be known that Elijah weighed 143 pounds. He was 5 feet 7 inches, 143 pounds. The reason I'm saying that is because that is not a large person and should not be that difficult to control with multiple people, and it should also not be that difficult to control him in a position that is not face down on the ground or with your arm on his neck. Now he's vomiting.
Move your camera, dude.
We have the gun.
No, he went for his gun.
Oh, my gun. Does anybody have sandy wipes? All right, thanks.
He can bend his knees a little bit so he can balance himself.
Still vomiting.
He's kicking around a little bit still, so he's going to sit on. Yeah.
I'm not missing mine. Are you missing yours? Yours is in the car, right? Your cell phone?
What's that?
Your cell phone is in the car?
I think so. Is it an iPhone?
What kind of drugs did you take? A red case?
No.
What kind of drugs did you take tonight? What kind of drugs did you take tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
We need to know, okay?
Good, brother.
Can you find sandy wipes for me somewhere, please?
We need to know what you were taking.
From anybody?
Okay?
Yeah, anything, please.
Are you listening to me, man? I'm asking
Good.
you what kind of drugs you were taking, okay?
So here they have had a tussle trying to restrain him. They think that he's on drugs. He's also now vomiting, which could corroborate someone who is on some kind of drugs, or it could just be from the adrenaline dump. There's a million different reasons why he could have been vomiting. My opinion of the reason he's most likely vomiting is because he's had a near sinkable episode, which is from the chokehold he was placed in. He may not have fully went unconscious, but he was close enough, and then it can cause you to vomit. I don't know that to be fact that that's what happened here, but that would be my assumption, that he's vomiting from the chokehold and tussle he was just involved in. So in my opinion, during this part of the footage, he does not appear to be so combative that they have to keep him on the ground laying like that. I don't understand why he wasn't sat up where he could better control his own airway and the direction of his vomit, but they chose to leave him laying on the ground like that with his hands behind his back.
Here you go. Whose is this? Mine. It was recording. I just shut it off because it's split in half. So something fell out right here on the grass, but I don't know what it was.
It probably looks like a...
Gotta throw up, dude?
Yeah.
Throw up right there, okay? Don't throw up on me, though.
We got fire coming, right?
Yeah. I called him when he first went out.
And I don't think he went out, dude.
He like halfway, I think, but... Hey, dude, relax.
I think he's trying to puke.
Oh, okay. Get it out, dude. Thanks, bro. Get it out.
You need to swap out so you can take care of that?
Nah, I'm good. Let's see, like, anything?
No, we got called to a suspo. He was out here walking around with a ski mask on.
So y'all need the cell phone picked up?
Probably just bring it over by him, dude. And then we contacted him, Green. He's wearing a ski mask. He started to kind of like walk away from us, so these two wrap him up. And then in the midst of them wrapping him up, pushing him against the wall right here, he reached for Rosie's gun, dude. So.
Oh, fuck. I didn't get up.
Oh, fuck. Don't move, dude. Just stay on your side. Rosie, rolling this way, dude?
Yeah.
Are you able to?
Fuck. My legs locking up.
There you go. Just like that.
You're good.
Don't get up, dude. It's not going to be good for you. I'm telling you right now.
Dude, if you keep messing around, I'm going to bring my dog out. He's going to dog bite you. You understand me? Keep messing around.
I think we're okay for here. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Watch your step, dude. You're right in his puke.
He had a mask on. I know that. Yeah.
I did not.
Show passed out.
Okay.
No, I just. Oh, okay.
Don't do it, dude.
Relax, bro. Come
Chill
on.
out.
You already lost this one. Just relax.
This is just not appropriately at all.
No. When we tried to stop him, dude.
Come on.
So now the two paramedics are on scene. As a paramedic myself, when I get on scene, that is now a patient. My concern is the patient. The police officers are not medically trained, so it is your responsibility to make sure that nothing is being done to hurt your patient, to put them in any kind of danger. Your job is to be an advocate for them. And these two paramedics failed at every opportunity to do that for Elijah.
Was this anything?
Standing there with his hands on his hips.
But he's definitely on something.
Okay.
Ow. Okay.
Stop, dude. Well, chill out. You've already been told several times to stop.
I can't fix myself. Ow.
Just leave them there until the ambulance gets here. We'll just put them down to the drain.
Hey, I know you're busy, but I just want to let you know that
Stop.
we had a suspicious call over here on building.
Dude, chill out.
He's got a mask on his face. That's kind of weird. Nothing really criminal. My officers go to make contact with him. He starts acting crazy, and they attack him. Rosenblatt, he ended up trying to put a carotid on the guy. And actually,
well, stop fighting us.
Put him out. They were able to get him out of handcuffs. We're still struggling with him. I have fire on scene, and that's where we're at. I just want to let you know, yeah, we did actually apply the carotid tonight. So, hey, and the other one, I don't. Oh, you got him? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I knew you were busy. Just one other thing, we did have an officer get.
Yeah, that's all his, dude. That's what he was wearing.
I'd also like to point out that neither one of those medics have squatted down
All the cops are okay.
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect, dude. Perfect.
and made any attempt to check on that patient yet.
Whatever he's on, he has incredible strength.
Yeah, crazy strength.
And I had him in a bar hammer behind his back, and his arm was above his head, and he was still fighting us.
Is there anybody that can relieve me for a second? Spitz! Oh, we need somebody just to... You want to just get on for a sec so I can get up? I'm like cramping up. Fucking...
It's amazing how strong a person is when they're trying not to die and they're confused and not understanding what's going on and trying to breathe. I can't imagine the panic that he was in. But again, from a paramedic's perspective, the first thing that I would have done had I walked up on that scene is squatted down, put my hand on his shoulder and said, "Hey buddy, what's going on?" That does a lot of things. Number one, it de-escalates. Number two, that establishes a relationship with your patient. You ask basic questions to establish that you're there to take care of them. Also determine their level of consciousness. Are they oriented? Are they making sense? Are they having any trouble breathing? While you're doing that, you can reach down and palpate a pulse. Is it there? Obviously his was there because he's talking, but my point is that these two paramedics so far have done nothing but put their hands on their hips and stare down at the patient while the cop is telling him that he has superhuman strength and he is definitely on something.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. So he's walking away from us, and he did this thing. We're like, "Hey, dude, this is not a big deal. Just relax." And we sat there for a good 30 seconds just trying to calm him down. We're like, "Dude, hey, not a big deal. We need to talk to you." And then he kept doing this, and he kept saying things that didn't make any sense. And then,
unless that's on another body cam that I have not run across, that did not happen. I mean, I'm saying that I could have overlooked it at some point. So if any of you out there watching this have seen that, I would love to see it. But the footage that we just saw, that is not how this went down.
I'm like, hey, bring him over the grass, so if we do have to take him down, we can take him down the grass, not because we're right here by the rocks. And then he starts going even crazier, so we get him cornered against the wall.
What's he doing when he's acting crazy?
He's like saying stuff, and he's holding his arms in, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he was saying right now, but just acting really strange.
Randy, you needed relief, buddy? Randy, you needed relief?
No, I'm good. I'm just going to pat him down. Make sure
and then over there, Brody tells me to try to grab my gun. So we pull him down.
Still, no communication with the medics. The medics have not even acknowledged the patient. Still.
Yeah, so he pulls his arm free and comes out, and I don't remember feeling it because I was focused on him. But he said, "You trying to grab a gun?" So I'm like, "Okay." So he comes down, and then yeah, go from there. And I don't know when this.
So,
No. He just thought it was weird because he was wearing the mask.
Well, it is.
Gestures, yeah.
So, okay.
That's all done.
I need, yeah, I'm sure you're talking about that part.
Yeah, 500.
You draw 500. Don't do it.
But, so I initially tried, and then I was in a bad position. I didn't want to hurt his neck, so I had to release because I was behind. It wasn't like.
So you went to put it on.
So it was like almost like a schoolboy trying to get it caught backwards, because that was the only position I had.
Right in his cute.
Relax, dude.
There we go.
What are you trying to get?
Put his arm down here, and I could drop my knee right in his tricep, and he can't move.
And then
sure he can breathe.
He can breathe. He can breathe.
Okay, all right.
I just have his arm pinned behind his back.
I understand. Don't move your feet. Nope, don't do that. So if you take his foot and angle it outwards, put pressure on it.
He's not having it.
Okay, at least once successfully.
Okay.
Stop messing around, man.
Chill out.
Well, we'll just leave him.
You've already been told several times to stop.
I can't sit myself.
Ow! We'll just leave him there until the ambulance gets here, and then we'll just put him down to the gurney.
Yeah, I know you're busy, but I need to let you know that.
Stop.
We had a suspicious call over here on Bill.
Chill out.
He's got a mask on his face, acting kind of weird. Nothing really criminal. My officers go to make contact with him. He starts acting crazy. They tried to head on him. He attacked them. Rosenblatt, he ended up trying to put a carotid on the guy. And actually,
stop fighting us.
Was able to put the carotid on him. They put him out. They were able to get him under handcuffs. We're still struggling with him. I have fire on scene, and that's where we're at. I just want to let you know we did actually apply the carotid tonight. So.
Bless you.
And the other one, I don't. Oh, you got him? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I knew you were busy. And just one other thing, we did have also get.
Yeah, that's all his, dude. That's what he was wearing.
Okay. It was used. Okay. It was very minor.
So when the ambulance gets here, we're going to go ahead and give him
all the cops are okay.
Perfect.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Alright, so you just heard one of the paramedics say when the ambulance gets here, we're going to go ahead and give him some ketamine. So it appears that these paramedics are not the transporting medics, which a lot of systems do that. I have personally worked for a system that did that. That is a whole other video on the problems with that system. I mean, some of the things are good, some are the bad, but in this situation right here, you have two paramedics. I don't know if they work a second job somewhere else. A lot of them do. These paramedics, the way these systems work is these two, the senior paramedic on this call is in control of the scene. Even when the ambulance gets there, which I'm assuming is a private company, if the fire medic wants to continue control of the patient, then they can essentially not hijack, but they can hop on the ambulance right into the hospital. But most of the time they don't want to do that, so they will dictate or provide some form of patient care on scene, and then when the ambulance get there, they'll give them report and ride in to the hospital. The problem with this right here, in my opinion, without knowing this medic specifically, but I've known a lot, I've been around a lot, he very well could have some kind of superiority complex and, you know, just wants to do the fun stuff and be the hero, but not actually be responsible for continuation of care. We don't know what his experience is. We don't know how many times he's even been in the back of the ambulance. It's possible that he could have just went to paramedic school, came out, got with the fire department, and the only patient care he ever does is on scene. Again, I don't know that to be true, but that is a possibility that happens all over the country. So just wanted to point that out. But here we are, they've been on scene for a while now. We have not seen anybody, any medical provider, squat down, hey buddy, what's going on? Check his oxygen, position his airway. Like, they have not done even the bare minimum. And now they're talking about giving him ketamine. I don't know how hard he's fighting. It's really hard to tell in this video, but I do know he's 5'7", 140 pounds, and there are currently 3 police officers on top of him, holding him down. Why do you need ketamine? I feel like had someone showed some humanity, walked up, put a hand on his shoulder, hey buddy, what's going on? They could have then sat him up and let the medic talk to him. I have done that so many times. The cops might have gotten into some kind of scuffle with the patient, and the patient may be agitated or intimidated by all these cops standing around. I can't tell you how many times I have showed up and asked the law enforcement to step outside. I would say, hey guys, I'm good, and they would walk out onto the porch where they could still hear, but that patient was not having to look at them, and then it de-escalated the situation significantly, where no chemical restraint was even thought about because it wasn't needed. I feel like that could have happened here. Of course, hindsight's 20/20, and it's always easier to quarterback somebody else's call than it is to run it in the moment. But so far, he has already been failed by both organizations. Yeah, I can confidently say that, especially the medics. There's no excuse not to squat down and assess your patient, or at least talk to them, introduce yourself. No attempts were made, and I just find that so just very much lacking in human decency.
Whatever he's on, all right. He has incredible strength.
Yeah, crazy strength.
And I had him in a bar hammer behind his back, and his arm was above his head, and he was still fighting.
Is there anybody that can relieve me for a second?
Yeah.
Spitz!
Sorry to pause again so quickly. I have never been restrained by law enforcement before, so, you know, this may be totally off base, but I would imagine being held in a position like that maybe you can't get a good breath, or you're just really scared and uncomfortable and things are awkward. I don't know that with all that adrenaline going through your system, is it possible to just relax? I mean, I don't know. That's a question. I have no idea. I've never been restrained like that, but I would imagine it might be pretty difficult to relax your body while all of that is going on. So they keep saying that has superhuman strength and he's fighting, but is he fighting, or is he trying to maneuver where he can get a breath?
You want to just get on for a second?
Want to kick his legs up and just...
Yeah, well, yeah, if he keeps on, we'll do that.
He's had 2 minutes out.
Okay. You all right? I'm trying to keep him on his side, dude, but he keeps fighting us. So.
Okay, right here, this is the third time I have watched this video and I had not really noticed. I'm gonna back it up a little bit, but I want you to look at how he's breathing right here. This is not a normal respiration. Before he's had any ketamine, he's already appearing labored to me, and we know from the autopsy, which I will show later, that he aspirated a large amount of his own vomit during all of this. So he's already now going to be, if this interaction stopped right here, if no medication was ever given, he is already going to be in the hospital because he's got vomit all in his lungs. But right here, I'm going to back it up a few seconds and I want you to look at how he's breathing. Watch his shoulders.
I'm trying to keep him on his side, dude, but he keeps fighting us, so.
See how he's moving so hard to breathe? And he's breathing fast.
Stop, dude, don't do it.
And he's wiggling around because he's having trouble breathing.
We haven't even got that far yet, man.
Then he starts going crazy. Don't worry about what he's like saying stuff and he's holding his arms in. And he's like,
so he's aspirated, he's got labor breathing. No medical
My knee's on his
professional
elbow, dude. He ain't going anywhere.
has even squatted down.
No, I'm good. I'm just going to pat him down, make sure he doesn't
assess
have
him.
anything. Because we haven't got to that far yet.
This is so hard to watch.
Yeah, so he pulls his arm free, it comes out, and I don't remember feeling it because I was just like in my hands. Okay, so he comes down and here, and I don't know.
Well, it is.
So, okay. That's all.
I need, yeah, I need you talking about that part.
Okay, yeah, 500.
Sorry, I know I just... We can see from this body cam footage, he had labored breathing. He has obviously vomited. They don't know if he's aspirated or not because they haven't even checked the first thing yet. But as a paramedic on that scene, you have every right to say, hey guys, let's set him up. It's the police and law enforcement work together. If a medical professional is on a scene like this and says, hey guys, I don't like the way he's breathing, boom, something is done. Something is done. I have never had a situation where I thought something needed to be changed or looked at and I vocalized that and someone didn't listen. Like, it has always, any paramedic, any firefighter, they know how this stuff works. If the medic on scene says, hey, we need to change something, it gets changed. I have never had anybody not work with me in a situation like this, but those medics have not done the bare minimum. They don't know that he's aspirated because they haven't checked. They don't know what his oxygen level is because they haven't checked, but they can look at him and tell he's got labored breathing, and they still have not said, hey guys, I don't like this, let's set him up, let's change something. No, they said, y'all hold him here, and when the ambulance gets here, we're going to give him some ketamine. That's what they have done.
Don't do it. You're good. Nothing on his legs, right? No. I'm gonna come back this way. That way we're not feeling this. You could go right in his puke.
Oh, thank you.
Here, come this way with it. Come this way. There we go.
What are you trying to get?
Just put his arm down here, and I can drop my knee right in his tricep, and he can't move.
Sure he can breathe.
Yep. He can breathe. He can breathe. I just have his arm pinned behind his back. That's it.
He can breathe. He can breathe. No, we can't. No, we can't.
So if you take his foot and angle it outwards and put pressure on his ankle, he almost did a push-up with all three of us on his back.
Because you're killing him.
Okay. Yeah, so once he gets out here, I'm going to hit him in the right shoulder.
You want shoulder or ass?
Either way.
Ass is right here, man.
Okay.
This is the first time they touch him. They expose his shoulder and they give him 500 milligrams of ketamine, IM, which means into the muscle. Ketamine is a weight-based dissociative sedative. It is used for pain control. It is used for excited delirium. It's used as sedation before anesthesia. It can also be used before induction when someone is going to be RSI'd, which I said all that to just say ketamine has many different uses and the dose is different for what you're going to use it for. In this situation right here, the dose for ketamine pre-hospital is 4 milligrams per kilogram IM. So we know that they gave Elijah 500 milligrams, which is the max dose. I have given a patient 500 milligrams before. It was a 6'4", like 250 pound nonverbal autistic adult male that was having a crisis and was a danger to everybody. And those situations are just so unimaginably hard because you know that he truly can't help it because of his size and the autism. It was a dangerous situation, and we gave him 500 IM. It worked. We immediately got him in the ambulance, had all of our equipment set up and monitored him, and like it was fine. It was used correctly in that situation. So they gave 500, but we know that Isaiah weighs 140. However, in the court documents, they said they estimated his weight to be 200. So to give the benefit of the doubt, a 200-pound patient, so 200 divided by 2.2, a 200-pound patient weighs 90.9 kilograms. Multiply that times 4 because it's 4 milligrams per kilogram, and you get 364 milligrams. Would have been the correct dose for this patient. So right out of the gate, these medics have showed their absolute incompetence because they have not done any kind of assessment, and they are immediately giving the max dose of ketamine. The dose he should have got, 140 divided by 2.2 times 4, he should have got 255 milligrams. We will talk more about that in a bit. But now they are going to give him 500 of ketamine in the shoulder, and yeah, and they're not only giving him the ketamine, but they are keeping him held down while chemically sedating him with a dose quite a bit higher than he should have been given.
We'll give that a couple of minutes. We'll see if that works. And then if it does,
yeah.
We'll go to bed.
You good?
Got it? Then you got his back leg?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the one kicking you, man?
No, we're good. I'm good.
Drive your knuckles right there. You'll have to put pressure until he moves. All right.
We got 500 ketamine. Yep.
500 of ketamine. And this will be the first time a medical professional touches him. Right here.
Fights, all right?
Notice when they gave that to him, he didn't make a sound.
We'll give that a minute or two.
He didn't say ow. He didn't try to withdraw.
We'll go ahead. If you guys are okay with it, we'll uncuff him. We'll go up with the right arm.
Which tells me that he is already compromised prior to being given the ketamine.
With the left,
does he look like he's fighting to y'all right here?
All right. Hey, Woodyard,
it don't
Rosie, here in a minute, once this medicine kicks in, we're going to uncuff him, put him on the bed, and then we're going to restrain him, soft point him to the bed.
No, you're okay. I got
Ketamine also works incredibly fast, especially that high of a dose. So what is happening here is it appears he's already compromised before he gets ketamine. So he's being held down, he's injected with ketamine, and normally when you put a needle into somebody, they withdraw or they say ow. When they don't know it's coming, they're going to move away from it or moan or say ow. He does none of that. So they give him the ketamine that he doesn't need and didn't notice that he didn't have a reaction when they gave him the ketamine, and they're still on top of him as the ketamine is taking effect. So essentially what's happening is whatever fight he's able to do to try and breathe, because remember, he has aspirated, he has vomit all in his lungs. So he's been trying to fight a little bit so that he can try to breathe, which is like drowning. It's your instinct to come up for air. You can't not make yourself do that. You have no control of that. And so now the ketamine is sedating him while he's being held down and compromised, and he dies 3 days later. And here in a minute, I will point it out. When they put him on the stretcher, you are going to be able to see he has agonal respirations. If you have not seen that before, it can be quite disturbing, but agonal respirations are what happens right before someone goes into full respiratory arrest. It's a gasping that your brainstem is still working, so it's making your body gasp, but you're not really breathing any air. It can be compared to the way a fish looks out of water, how you'll see it just mouth open and really big. That is what happens to us when we have agonal respirations before we die, and you are going to see that here in a minute.
You guys have any extra gloves on you?
My back pouch right here, dude.
So he's been given the ketamine. Ketamine is taking effect right now, and they are still on top of him. And those medics have not said, hey guys,
they're extra large just so everybody can fit them.
Just to fill you in, he was contacted while walking down the street wearing like a wrestling mask or something like that. It's like all these guys to get him down and even in.
They've given him 500 ketamine, and they're not even checking his breathing, his pulse, his oxygen, using a stethoscope to listen to his lungs.
So I was excited to learn, and that's why we hit the 5.
Probably excited delirium. I don't know if you heard that, but he's saying probably excited delirium. Excited delirium is a umbrella term for anybody that is deemed not rational, combative, delirious. We can't control this person. They're on something. They're having a psychotic break. It's all under the umbrella of excited delirium. If you have a patient that you truly cannot control, that is a danger to themselves and everyone else around them, that is what ketamine is for, and it is great at that, and it has historically been proven to be a very safe drug. However, once you give someone ketamine, you treat that patient like a critical care patient, because now they are 100%. It's like a newborn baby relies 100% on their caretaker to keep them alive. It is the same when you chemically sedate someone with ketamine. They are helpless. You have to make sure that they are breathing correctly, that they are oxygenating sufficiently. They know this, they are supposed to know this, and have done none of that. The only time they have touched him is to give him too much ketamine that he didn't need in the first place.
We're going to give him maybe another minute, but it looks like it's starting to kick in.
Yeah, he's snoring.
Ready.
Oh,
go ahead,
you just heard him say he's snoring. So now he's got snoring respirations, and they are still on top of him. Snoring respirations is what happens when your airway is blocked. I'm trying not to get emotional and not come across so angry, but this is infuriating. And as a mother, I cannot imagine. As a paramedic, I certainly can't imagine. This is inexcusable.
Is he in custody or?
I'm
sure he will be.
I'm sure he will be, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
For what?
Like the hospital staff know.
If he's not already.
All right. How's he? Does he seem a little?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
So they just smacked him, tap, 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 tap. I don't know where. I can't tell. I'm like, yeah, he's gone. But did you notice when that paramedic bent down? He didn't even like squat and touch him again. He just bent over. Yep, he's out.
Get him on his side and we'll just uncuff him.
Now, this is
let's
where,
get him on the gurney first. Okay. If we can.
when you can see his face, pay attention to how he's breathing.
Be careful. Be
Yeah,
careful.
he's definitely.
All right.
Now they're going to set him up, take his handcuffs off.
So we'll put an end title hanging on both.
Give him some light. Got it, dude?
So we can have that ready too.
Do the right one first.
Hey, would you?
Let me grab this.
I got it.
Pay attention right here when you can see his face again, not only to how he's breathing, but it looks like he's foaming at the mouth and he's got vomit and foam coming out, which should cue everybody in that he's dying. He is dying right here, and nobody seems to be concerned.
You guys got them?
All right, right here. Watch his mouth closely. You'll see all the foam and the vomit coming out.
Good? Yep.
Right, there's the agonal respirations right there. I'm gonna back it up.
Yeah.
Watch his face. Watch how he's gasping. There you go. Watch his face. Watch him gasp. Those are agonal respirations. That right there. That is agonal.
Good.
Can see that from a mile away.
Let's get him inside and just suction. Okay.
I missed the angle of the foam and the vomit coming out. That there are several body cam angles, so that must have been on another one. But while they sat him up to remove his handcuffs, he was slumped over and he had foam and vomit quite a bit coming out of his mouth, which should also tell those medics that he is most likely aspirated.
Let's get him in right quick and we'll suction.
So they get him loaded up where he's obviously going into respiratory arrest right here. So they get him loaded up where when you watch the full body cam, then right after that, one of the police officers walks by and you see them doing CPR. So he has gone into full cardiac arrest just shortly after this, right after he went into respiratory arrest that nobody was getting worked up about. So he ended up being transported to the hospital where he was pronounced brain dead 3 days later. He had large amounts of vomit in his lungs noted at autopsy. He had anoxic encephalopathy. And of note, even though they gave him 500 of ketamine, yes, it was too much for his body weight, but they did not technically overdose him. The toxicology showed that he still had a therapeutic amount of ketamine in his system. So they gave him too much. They overdosed him. They gave him more than they should have based on protocols, but they did not overdose him to the point that this is what should have killed him. And I'm going to pull up that information. First, let's look at the autopsy report. This is where the case gets even more frustrating. This is the amended autopsy report. This is not the initial one. The initial autopsy report said that his cause of death was undetermined, but it was later amended to say that it was because of the ketamine. And I'm just gonna skip to the end. This is all available online. I will link all of this in the description. So we're gonna read the opinion down here. The original autopsy was November of 2019. After reviewing all of the body cam footage, it is my opinion that this 23-year-old African-American male, Elijah McClain, died of complications of ketamine administration following forcible restraint. Therapeutic ketamine levels in the serum and plasma range from 1.0 to 6.3 following a single intravenous administration. In a fatality following a 1,000 milligram IM injection, the blood ketamine level was 27. The ketamine level in this case was 1.4. Now, does 1.4 fall between 1.0 and 6.3? Does it? I'm pretty sure it does. So this therapeutic level of ketamine, how can that be the cause of death? My opinion, that no one asked for, is that had any one person done their job, he would still be alive. If the cops had not sat on him and held him down like that, he would have been able to breathe. If the medics hadn't given him ketamine while he was being held down, he would still be here. He noted about the carotid holds, but doesn't think that that was the cause of death. There's no signs of traumatic asphyxiation. Mr. McClain was likely under physiological and emotional stress. You think? Just prior to the ketamine administration, he was moving his feet, groaning, making other noises, and made a type of growling noise when he was injected with ketamine. I didn't hear that. Maybe he did, but it did not seem normal to me. It seemed like he was very much compromised before he was given the ketamine. It is my opinion that he likely would have recovered if he did not receive this injection. Probably he also would have recovered had the medical professionals done, I don't know, a tenth of the job that they should have done. They literally did not do one single thing correctly. And that's putting it as nicely as I can. They showed a complete lack of human decency towards, I keep wanting to call him this child. He's not a child, 23-year-old man, but as a mother and as a female paramedic, I feel very motherly. And it's hard for me not to say child, a young man. So they changed the cause of death to accident. Do not have evidence of trauma or lethal asphyxiation. I do not know if bradycardia associated with carotid body stimulation contributed to death. I still contend that the appropriate manner of death in this case is undetermined. These deaths are usually classified as accident, but he still thinks it's undetermined. So there were other professionals who reviewed this case, did autopsies. I think he had 2 or 3 autopsies, but they determined the manner of death would be homicide. There was one that took the stand during the court case who said that it should be a homicide. So this happened in, I believe, September of 2019. After the initial autopsy, there were no charges filed. The DA cleared all the officers and paramedics of any wrongdoing at that time. Fast forward to 2020 and we have George Floyd. And we all watched that. We all know how that turned out. Because of George Floyd's death, there were thousands of letters sent to the state representative in Aurora, Colorado, to keep looking into Elijah McClain's death. So June 25th, a special prosecutor was assigned. July 2nd, 3 officers were fired, and they all 3 appealed. And then September 1st, charges were officially filed. During all of this, these 3 idiots thought it would be a grand idea to pose for a picture where Elijah McClain was killed. And they texted this picture to one of the officers that was involved and was still working. And he responded to the picture with haha and was fired for that. I believe all 3 of these officers were also fired. Yeah. 3 Colorado police officers were fired and a 4th resigned after they shared photographs they took of themselves reenacting a chokehold officers used to subdue a black man who later died. Vanessa Wilson, interim chief of police, called the officers' actions reprehensible, and I totally agree with that. So the reason this is circulating again is because back in December, the 2 paramedics were convicted of negligent homicide. Hold on. Yes, negligent homicide. They have not been sentenced yet, so we don't know what the outcome will be with that. But all of the officers got off except for one, and I think he was sentenced to like 14 months in jail and then some years on probation. I'm not going to get into all of that. Do I think that those officers showed up to work that day with the intent to kill anybody? No. Do I think while this was going on that their motive was to kill Elijah? No. I don't think their intent was ever to murder someone. I do not think that it was murder. However, they, in my opinion, were too quick to subdue him, restrain him. They were not understanding that he was different, that he was autistic. They automatically jumped to conclusions that he was on something, and that was what they told themselves. They were convinced that's what was going on, and they were wrong. But they used that to justify the force that they were using in holding him down, even after he was vomiting copious amounts. They continued to hold him down. But even more heinous than that are these 2 medics who showed up, did not make any attempts to show any professionalism. They didn't check his level of consciousness, his orientation, his oxygen saturation. They never listened to his lungs. They never provided a human touch of just, hey bud, what's going on? I know I've said that repeatedly, the hey bud, what's going on? But there are multiple reasons why, me personally, that's what I did. It's a way for you to determine, is this person awake and oriented? It also can calm the patient. It can de-escalate the situation. They walked up to him, put their hands on their hips, and looked down at him. The first time they touched him was when they gave him ketamine. The other issue I have is that this has been used to demonize ketamine. Ketamine is not the enemy here. The enemy are negligent medical professionals and people making excuses for them and taking up for their actions. The only way we get rid of these bad cops is for the good cops to step up. Same with medical professionals. The only way to stop these things from happening is to address the actual problem, which is not the ketamine. It's the incompetence of these 2 paramedics. Period. Had they given him 500 of ketamine, let's just say, even though they gave him too much, they did not bother to get out the little calculator and calculate how much he should get. So they gave him too much, number one, didn't bother to calculate the dose at all. But even so, if after they had given him 500, they immediately put him on the stretcher, had their airway equipment, was monitoring his saturation, this would not have happened. But we saw in the video that he was already compromised before he got the ketamine. So I don't think he ever should have gotten it. He wasn't combative. He was compromised at that point. He was medically compromised from chokeholds and from aspiration. And then they gave him ketamine. And then they continued to hold him down. And he died. And he died. And the only thing one of those medics had to do was show some humanity. Was to say, hey bud, what's going on? Or hey guys, he doesn't look quite right. Let me see what's going on. Can we let up a little bit? We will find out when these medics get sentenced. Do I think they quote unquote murdered him? No, I don't think that their intent was murder, but their actions absolutely resulted in the death of this young man who was just different. His crime was being cold and dancing and being different. And it's really unfortunate, and we have got to do a better job of showing humanity, which I get it. I was burned out too. I don't work as a paramedic anymore because of my own accident, but I get it. I was burned out. There's a lot of things you see and you just get numb to things, but if you can't find it in you to have some compassion, humanity, decency, get out. I hate to end this on a sad note. There's not really a happy ending here, other than in the event that someone runs across this that's a new medic or thinking about becoming a paramedic, remember this. Remember that no matter what the police are doing, you're the one that's trained to keep that patient alive and not let anything harm them. So you have every right. In fact, it is your duty to point out things that you see that are not conducive to a good outcome of your patient. If your patient is being hurt, being harmed, their breathing is compromised, any of the above, you say something. It is your duty. That is your job. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more I could say, but for the purposes of this video, we will stop here. Again, my opinion is that it is certainly not just on the medics. All were involved, but it is of my opinion that had one entity done their job correctly, that he would still be here. And I can't imagine being his mother. So, well, I hope you learned something. I hope you got some kind of benefit from watching this video. Go eat a snack and watch a happy movie, and I will see you again very soon.